Thank you very much, Leanne, for the introduction, and a great afternoon to everyone who took their time to join us for this session. And we have some familiar people who are already our clients, and we have people all the way from Qatar, the UK, the US, and majority are from Singapore. And today's session is all about ROI. ROI, the most powerful lecture in the English language for the past 10 years. And let me just tell you before we begin is what this session is not about. This session is not about personality typology, where you sort of identify if you are an eagle or an owl or a D or an I person, etc. And it's not about perception of the world, if you on how you see things, whether it's a half full or half empty. And it's definitely not about telling you the difference between what a manager and a leader does and its overlapping responsibilities and traits. And more importantly, I'm not here to make you walk on fire or in a charcoal to overcome your challenges in your personal life or to make you resilient and stronger in your mind. Neither will I teach you that you should hold hands together as a team, then jump on poles and ropes together to develop a sense of belonging to improve your relationship with your peers. Our main purpose today is just one. It is increasing your leadership ROI, how to create and implement a leadership strategy that has a measurable return on investment to you as a leader and a manager. And we will also show you how to hire the right leader manager the first time. And finally, how to effectively identify and develop the future leaders of your enterprise. And this is using actionable information based on your organization's data, and also as an appreciation for taking the time to join us today. Please do stay around till the end of our session for a surprise gift for you and your company. First, I would like to do my obligatory 2 minutes to tell you a 1,000-foot overview of who we are, what we do, and how we do it for those of you who are not yet familiar with Profiles International. We represent the fastest growing and leading assessment and human capital solutions company worldwide. And we help our clients create a high-performing workforce, and we help them reduce hiring mistakes, decrease employee turnover, increase workforce productivity, and help them develop outstanding leaders in their organization. And what makes us unique is our ability to provide actionable information and state-of-the-art systems and technology used throughout the employee life cycle. We have been in the business for more than 20 years with a representation in over 125 countries worldwide. And there are over 50 million users of our products, and we have served over 45,000 clients from small, medium enterprise to all the way to Fortune 500 companies. And we have materials that are available in 33 different languages, and they're also locally validated for reliability and validity. And we have a pleasure to work with the very diverse marquee clienteles and customers from various industries, from manufacturing, electronics, oil and gas, healthcare, hospitality, and business services, just to name a few. And we are very proud of the work that we do, and most especially the achievements of our clients. We have numerous case studies to substantiate the kind of things and ROI that we are talking about in our webinar, just like this. And I highly encourage you to seek out the case studies in our website. Now, let me remind you all why we are here. Basically, it's because you are all strategic and not tactical individuals. And I'm sure you would agree with me that everybody in your business is all about reducing costs, improving productivity, and increasing the bottom line. Nothing else matters. Now, if my job was to reduce costs, improve productivity, and increase the bottom line, where do you start? So you start where you spend most money, and that is your people. But unfortunately, this is the least financially managed part of your business, of our business in general, which accounts to more than 38% of the revenue and assets of the company. So how do I do that? Well, basically you avoid recruiting the wrong people, because some good folks are just in the wrong places. Like the saying goes, a weed is just a flower growing in the wrong places. So if you get the right people, place them in the right job, you want to get them productive. Excuse me. Then we have to look at our best folks. You would like to retain them and develop them to their fullest potentials. Now, this sounds so simple, but the simplest thing to say is where most leaders and managers fail to execute. Why does this matter? Let's look at the current state and the landscape of talent locally and internationally at this point. Manpower Group released their 2012 research about the state of talents in the world and in Asia Pacific. And according to the results, 37% of the respondents in Singapore is facing talent shortage today and in the next years to come. And the results cited that among the most difficult positions to fill are those in the sales representative, and engineers, and the management and executive positions. And among the reasons they said is that there is not enough candidates to fill those jobs, and the scarcity of competent workers to fill the demands of those positions is making it really a big challenge in the business world, and most particularly in Singapore. Few years ago, as I can remember, when the economy is not doing well, analysts and professionals are saying that we are in a deep doo-doo, that we don't have enough people to fill the demands of the changing workforce from now and in the next 5 years. But guess what? That did not change even with the better economy as of today. We are still chasing the best folks in the market. Now, while some companies became successful attracting those talents, but they also failed to retain those talents. A question always lingered to executives' mind is, how do we retain those great people that we have? And according to Gallup research, the top two predictors of employee turnover is when, number one, the immediate manager is unclear with his or her expectation, and number two is job fit. It is when opportunities for progress and development are few and far from reach, and this is based on the 30 years of combined research analysis done by Gallup organization. Now, we have this sort of information. The next question is, how do we know who is going to be productive? Now, Hunter and Smith, the experts in organizational psychology and productivity, undertook an analysis of 85 years worth of research, and this was published in Harvard Business Review. The study was about, could we find out what drives productivity and the connection between personality and performance, and is there any way to predict productivity? And what they found was, not all people in all jobs are created equal, meaning not all people are equally going to be productive. In any jobs, in any level, in any country, in over 85 years of research that they have analyzed, there is a distribution of productivity anywhere in the world. There will always be the top producers or the stars, and there will always be the so-so or the non-performers, and most of them will fall somewhere in between, or most of them are the average producers. And broadly speaking, they all fall in the same standard distribution of performance, or what you know as the bell curve. Now, what does this mean? If you have 10 people working for you, doing any job anywhere in the world, there will be at least 2 people that will not, or that is not going to be productive by comparison with their colleagues. Now, looking at the stats here, it says that the average level of difference from lowest skilled jobs is about 19%. Now, the same goes from average to top performers, is also 19%. So you add it all together, you get 38%. And 38% clearly is a huge difference in productivity and performance. So clearly, the return on investment on this folk is grossly superior. Now, in your jobs, think about it, every one of them, there will be a distribution of productivity and performance. Now, here's the really scary ones. Have you ever heard of the saying that a good leader manager is the difference between the success and failure of any enterprise? It is bandied all around and all over the place. And these are the sort of things that we learn in business school, in one of our business one-on-one lessons, right? But now, if you look at the stats here, it says that it is almost from here to here, okay, from a management, professional, and sales position that makes the difference between the success or failure of the enterprise. So, unless all your managers and leaders are superior performers, you are losing money unnecessarily. So every time you move performance of any leader manager from average to superior, you have a dramatic and measurable impact on your business. Now, if you get the wrong people in management and leadership position, and the enterprise fails. Now, if you are giving away 38% of the assets of the company, some will use them and some they'll just throw it down the drain. So you need to avoid recruiting the wrong people. So because I couldn't just emphasize more that bad leadership has a serious cost, especially to your business. Poor leaders disengage people, they drive them out. Average ones moderately engage people. Nobody ever employed an average leaders in their lives. We all would like to have them as we think of them as superior performers the first day that we hire them. We cannot, in this economy, we cannot afford to get it wrong. You have to know you got it right the first time. And that starts in knowing who is the best ones you got right now. Now, I do ask everyone whenever I conduct this session is, who among you can put together in a chart or in a ranking your best, your average, or low-performing managers and leaders in your organization? Do you have a top 10 where you could specifically rate who's the number 1, number 2, number 3, all the way to number 10? Nobody has. We measure people in particular to what they do with their unit. The most part is who's the best communicator, who's the best schmoozer, who's the best looking, who's the longest who's been in the job, and so on and so forth. We really don't have that objective information to really put together who's really performing. So, but you probably know who's failing. So, and here's the thing. Somebody's going to steal your best folks at one stage. So you have to know that whenever you're replacing them, you have to know who they are, what makes them who they are. So when you have to replace them, you're not doing the same old way of doing things when hiring people for your position, which is the spaghetti approach. Who knows about the spaghetti approach, or what you call the spaghetti test? This is about, you cook the spaghetti, pick them out, throw it in a wall. If it sticks, it cooks. If it doesn't, then it's not yet ready. But that's how we do it. Every time we're recruiting managers and leaders in our organization, put them there, throw them 6 to 12 months, pay them ridiculous money, ridiculous bucks, and wait and see how it works. That is expensive. We can't afford to do that. If we are going to lose our best folks, we better be sure we know why we are replacing the person in that position. So, and bear in mind, even though they are your best folks, that doesn't mean you are getting their best. It doesn't mean that they are giving you their best. So, every time we are placing people in leadership position, we have to do it on purpose, because we are giving away 38% of the assets of the company. Here you have a bowl. So, does that make sense? I think that clearly does make good sense. Now, people ask me, what would I define as the best possible leader you can get? I define them in 3 criterions. First is, great leaders and managers know that the only thing that counts is getting the results that matters. Getting the result that the owner, the stakeholder, the shareholders of the company is paying you to get for that position. If you don't do this, nothing else matters. You must get the results. The second thing is, you have to do it without driving people away. Because the old days when we are saying, oh, here's a total tyrant, he's a lion, horrible person, there are some people who are kept in position because they're getting the results. But in today, in a demographically challenged world where we can't afford those folks. They simply drive our talents away. And the third thing is, they must have the potentials to deal with change should the environment change. The things that make you great today doesn't mean it will be the same things that make you great tomorrow. So there are 3 strategies to do that, which is, one is the most widely implemented and adopted way anywhere in the world. Let's just hire a few and hope it works out. With leaders, they are the expensive ones than they do of their lower grade jobs. So we are placing our company's future on hope. Which is this is unnecessarily. Nope. Hope, to go corny, hope is a hopeless strategy. So we won't do that. Now, the second thing we can clone them using medical science. The only problem with this is if it is not affordable right now. But I guarantee you, as soon as it can be done, we'll have it. So not for this at the moment. So, but what if I can take all my very best folks in my company who has the potentials and competencies to be successful, and drive my leadership funnel on purpose, and drive it from day one, so that for every dollar I spend, it will lead me to a measurable return on investment. And that's the leadership strategy that increases your leadership ROI. So first thing is, you must identify the results of your best performers. So the second thing is, know their potentials, know what could make them explode and be really successful in their job. And the third thing is, you have to show them the competencies. Show them the behaviors that will make them successful in your organization. So, first up is, you have to rank the leaders and managers. Analyze who are the top, the bottom, and the middle. And how you do this? You have to carefully identify some objective measures in their performance. As Stephen Covey said, begin with the end in mind, because you will get what you measure, and what gets measured gets done. I love those lines. No, those objective measures, they could be something like, a project delivered on time, who gets to deliver the on budget and on time. If it is on a sales position as account manager, sales per month, per quarter, or per annum, average profit margin per account, or if it is in a team, call center situation, team calls handled per month, units manufactured per month, if it is in a manufacturing plant. And of course, we could also include supervisor and managers rating in their performance. And in reality, you have to also identify who at least they should be 12 months in the job. So you could be just fair when you're rating or ranking your leaders and managers. Now, the second thing is the potentials. Now, you have to remember, every success is different from one company to the other. It's different from yours, it's different from hers, it's different from anyone. So, what makes an individual successful in one company may not necessarily be the same ingredients that would make them successful in the company or in a position. Now, we need to ask 3 basic questions in identifying their potentials. So, you have to ask, can they do the job? How will they do the job? And would they be motivated to do the job? And these are the sort of things that one of our tools, very successful flagship tool that we use that could be able to answer these 3 main questions for your leaders. It's called Profile XT, and we can measure, and this tool can measure anything that can be measured in a person except for their learned skill. Measuring the immeasurable. The Profile XT collects the sort of information to measure the total person information you need to have before you put anyone in the leadership position. And it does this in a very accurate manner. It tells you exactly whether your leader and manager can deal with the mental demands of the position, their thinking, their problem solving, and their communication abilities. It could also tells you, if someone has the ability and mental capacity to adapt appropriately to the environment, and know if they could be able to fit in the comfortable in the demands the position makes on them as a person. And importantly, it can also show you whether they will be motivated to do the job, whether is leading or managing other people really their aspiration and interest. So it does tell you as a leader, for every single manager and leader in your organization, why some group of people produce more than their peers by showing you a success profile of your top performing folks in every critical position, and show you the potentials to be successful. So you can use the information in hiring people and avoiding the ones who are not going to be, it's not going to work out, and also gives you some actionable information and how you could be able to raise the game of the average or non-performing individuals. Now, this is some great information that you can get in no other way in a typical interview or resume screening, and yet it could be the difference between the conspicuous, success and dramatic failure in the organization. And that's how we will identify the potentials. Now, having done this, we can show you graphically and quantifiably to what extent your incumbents or potential leaders in your organization relative to the benchmark or the success profile created in that particular job. So the bottom line is, if you're giving folks 38% of the assets of your company, you have to know them inside and out. So, considering the cost of developing a leader, you simply cannot afford to start with somebody who is not likely to succeed in that position. Then, your third and final leadership strategy is you have to develop their competencies. What is it that these people who has potentials needed to do in order to be successful in their day-to-day job. We have all heard this. People don't quit jobs. They quit people. And the people that quit are usually those who are reporting to incompetent managers or leaders in that respect. Put great people in an animal of a leader or a manager, they will leave or they will fail. And you know that. All things being equal, if you're working for an idiot, you will leave that job. Particularly in a market which is challenged with scarce resource of talent such as Singapore, we're just going back to the same old rat race of chasing the best folks in the market. So our research has shown that these are the key characteristics for any managers and leaders to be successful. And these are the sort of things our Checkpoint 360 competency system measures about the leader and manager, and they are the 8 universal leadership and management competencies supported by 8 different skill sets and 70 behaviors that is shown to be critical in the day-to-day business environment. Now, the good news is these are skills and behaviors. They can be trained, changed, acquired, lost but retrained, honed and improved over time. And most importantly, they can be measured. And these are based on the largest leadership competency studies done worldwide. So the Checkpoint 360 tells you the things based on the required competencies identified by the bosses and how they will have been perceived by the people who work for them or work with them, and including their bosses. So it zooms into granular information so you can and be able to compare the things that they should be doing to be successful. Now, you really have the most robust and actionable information to drive your leadership development within your organization. Because at the end of the day, all of the managers and leaders would receive an individual development guide that from day one can be implemented as a standalone by itself. And we can also make a correlation of your top folks and what they are doing in common. Say, hey, these are the things that my leaders are really strong on. And on the very least, I would like all my leaders to be great and develop on these things, on these competencies. And of course, we could also show you the things that they need to close the gaps and work on an everyday basis. So this is how we determine the critical skill sets and develop the competencies that is needed and required for your managers and leaders to be successful. Now, the next is, then we do need to know what's happening across the organization, because you don't want to be spending money on training or development initiatives without knowing that it is directly contributing to the results and things that you hired them to get. So we look at the organizational management analysis or the executive overview. Now this report talks to the executive or CEO in that organization, and it tells you the alignment with his vision of what are the things that the management and leadership team ought to be doing. And finally, things always change, and whatever success that you have had in one particular period might not be the same as the next following year. So we review it annually, and we show you the comparison of whether you have actually have closed those gaps and achieved the results that matters. Now, if you can figure out all this for every leader and manager in your organization, that you could be able to identify the results that matters to be successful, hard measurable results that matters, and know that each and every leader and manager that I place in position has the potentials to be successful, and be able to show them and develop the competencies needed for them to explode and be successful in their particular position, and do it from day one, and you will actually be managing the return on your leadership investment in your people, for every people that you put in that position. And that is where you are going to be increasing your leadership ROI. Now, I would not flatter myself that you will remember me this time tomorrow or the day after. We will all go back to our offices and be inundated with lots of emails and telephone calls. And I highly encourage you to don't do what the rest are doing and wait until next year comes and think about us again or the things that we have discussed with you today in this session. If there is anything that we have shared with you has piqued your interest and curiosity, please, I highly encourage you to drop me a note or to my colleague, and let's sit down, pen something together, okay, and see what we can do for you in your organization. Now, let me share with you how our strategic clients gets, or what are the things that our strategic clients gets when working with us. And they are basically 5 things, okay, major things. First thing is the system or the software. Second is the executive management reports. Third are the workshops and trainings. The fourth are resources and materials. And most importantly, the services and support that we provide to our client organization. The first one is the system, which we install to you a virtual assessment center, which is a software as a service, which you can give you right to establish assessment centers for all your business units within your company. Now, we also provide various reports to your individuals, to the managers, and so as for the CEO. For the individuals, they will receive this type of reports, which speaks to different, which has different uses, such as for self-awareness. It speaks to the manager, and a comparison of different reports within the organization. And then we do have reports for the management. You will also get the job analysis report, a Profile XT coaching report, which is extremely very useful for managers, a report which speaks to the boss, and the comparison of different reports from the same managers and leaders, from different managers and leaders, and also the CEO or the executives of that organization will get their own report, which is the executive team performance model, which looks at how does my leadership team success profile looks like. In addition to an overview of 3 or more checkpoint reports of the same time period, and speaks to the C-level executives on the things that they need to be driving at in order to achieve the critical skill sets that they have identified for the leaders and managers. And the third thing is the workshops and trainings. We conduct executive masterclass workshops and a 4.5-hour executive and administration implementation workshop. And you will also receive the access to our pre-recorded webinars, trainings, and workshops 24/7. And you'll also get the resources and the manuals in order for you to conduct your own training too, or perhaps make it available for your managers and who is in charge in developing other people within your organization for most of the suites of our assessments, that even though you are not utilizing it, but just to give you a sense on what it can do to drive performance within your organization. And lastly is, as long as you are a client of Profiles, we guarantee you a lifetime customer service support and consulting, which includes reviewing your performance models, calculating the ROI, the yearly training workshops on our product internalization, and many more. So all these things at one simple price. So I highly encourage you to please connect with us if there is anything, okay, that we have mentioned today that have piqued your interest and curiosity. And if you are really thinking about driving productivity, performance, and having a human capital property via success profiles in your organization, please do give a shout out to us, and I will turn you over to my colleague to talk about the rest and how we go about doing so. So with that said, thank you very much to everyone who has participated in today's webinar. If you have any questions, please drop me a note in the preferred channels that you see on the screen. Connect with me via LinkedIn profiles, Asia, Twitter, or just simply drop me an email or visit our website for more information. So thank you very much, and you have a great day.